Do apologise, guys. I'll tag you guys back in. As I say, it's been a bit of a pain recently, but give me a second while we just get everything sorted. I do apologise for this. It's not brilliant when you've got technical issues, but we'll see how many people do join. Just give me a second while my phone's gone ballistic. Let's see. Right, let's try again. Take two. It says it's adding, so fingers crossed. Because if we don't, I don't know what we're going to do. Because you guys were looking forward to this, and so was I. I don't understand this technical bloody issues. Let's give everyone a friendly wave just while we're waiting, but hopefully all been well. Let's try again. Let's keep going. I don't know why it says connection failed on that, because it shouldn't. I'll invite you guys though, because I don't know whether we're having issues. It's alright, Rich, no bother, mate. I'm just trying to, re-add you. It's not connecting. No, I don't know. I tried to send you a request. I'll cancel my request and I'll try and re-add you. Don't know what it's doing. It's been a bugger. It shouldn't be. What I will do, I'll turn my internet off on my phone, on my normal phone, and then put mobile data on. And it's not connecting. No, it's not. Very weird. Because we had to try a few times on Monday. I don't know what it is at the minute. We seem to be having quite a lot of issues. And it's so annoying because on Monday we tried after it worked after how many attempts? Standard technology. It's useless as anything. There we go.
Hey.
Yeah, we're on.
Finally,
I'll pass you over to Elliot now.
Nice one, mate. Thank you.
Hello. I'm going to go upstairs because it'll be easier. How are you, Andy, mate?
No, I'm not too bad, mate. Are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Good man.
Right, here we go. Right, let's begin. a few days later than expected.
Well, it is what it is, though, mate, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I don't know why it's not letting you via your page.
Yeah, I've no idea, mate. No idea.
But we'll have a look into it. But I'll try and sort some out over the weekend, see what's going on.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but it's what it is.
Right, here we go.
But, where do we start? What do you want to start with? Do you want to talk about how you got into British touring cars, or do you want to talk about your YouTube side? What do you want to do?
We can talk, I suppose, yeah, from the very start, from touring cars. It goes back a long way, actually. I mean, it goes back to I think it was 2011.
Yeah,
is like my first memory of doing it, of like watching it.
Yeah.
I remember my first event I went to trackside was 2012.
Okay.
So that's when I properly got into it, obviously. But yeah, I think it was 2011. I think it's when it started, and obviously Dad was watching it, so
Yeah,
naturally it passes on through the generations.
as it does.
Yeah, it was 2011. I remember I think it was Donington Park, which I think was the second round at the time.
Yeah.
And it was when Plato had his role in the Chevy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's my earliest memory of touring cars, and obviously it's carried on since then. I've been more into it than ever. Obviously now have a YouTube channel about it.
Dad started that trend as well, didn't he? So
yeah. Obviously, Dad was obviously doing his vlogs when I was growing up, and seeing obviously I'm a part of the younger generation, so I've grown up with YouTube and obviously stuff like that. So and then with YouTube, I mean YouTube goes back pretty much not just as long, but a pretty long way. I think it was COVID 2020. And I had just left school. I was 15, obviously because COVID, I couldn't sit my GCSEs and that. So
of course,
so I was like, well, I've got nothing else to do with my time, so I might as well just make a YouTube channel. And at first it started with just me doing random stuff, like literally the most random stuff you could think of. And then I thought, actually, maybe I could probably get something out of this. And so at first it was mid to late 2020. I was like, okay, maybe I should start making stuff about Formula One, because I'd say I'm definitely a motorsport fan in general. I watch everything, touring cars, Formula One, Formula Two, and I try to watch GTs, WEC, and that. So I'm definitely a motorsport fan more than anything. I'm like anything with four wheels and an engine, I watch it. So
just a bit like me, obviously.
Yeah.
As you can tell with some of the stuff behind me,
so I thought, okay, I can start making videos about Formula One. And then it was early 2021 where I was like, actually, hang on, I might not do Formula One because there's already there's so many YouTubers out there that make Formula One content. So it's like, that's already a big and a tough market to get into. So it's like, am I really going to be like, okay, if I do Formula One, I'll probably get like a lot more views than I would with touring cars. But at the same time, there's not much YouTube presence for BTCC or even TCR. So I was like, okay, if I focus that on BTCC and now TCR, I can sort of build a presence for myself where I can be, who's Elliot Webber? Oh, he's that touring car YouTuber, instead of, he's just another F1 YouTuber. So it was around 2021 where I thought, it's definitely got to be a BTCC YouTube thing that I've got to do.
Yeah, because it's kind of like mine. Because mine started 2019 because I was reaching 30 years old, and I thought, okay, I'm 35 this year. But I thought, well, I needed to start somewhere, otherwise it's going to be late in the frame to get there. And I was researching numerous car vlogs, like people in the car scene. Obviously, people going over to the Nürburgring at the Nordschleifer and potentially taking their souped up DC2 Integrals or whatever. That might be some of the YouTubers that do that. But I thought, this is what I want to do. But then to focus on BTCC, because I've followed the championship for 25 years this year. That shows how long I've followed it compared to you. It's like, I'd rather show exactly the world of, a lot of things. And some of my guys will probably ask you some questions like, what's your favourite motorsport, what raced in real life and stuff like that. But, it's great. And for me, doing the touring car YouTube, it's very difficult because to look at it, like you say about Formula One's a bigger market. Whereas the BTCC, not many people know about it.
Exactly.
So, and hats off to you.
Well, that's one thing with doing touring cars, is that I could probably like maybe bring in some new fans to do, like, to watch it. I know I've had a few comments off people who, I've had a mix. I've got luckily I've got a big range. Like I've got a big age range in my viewers. You know, some are quite young, some are probably on the older side. And you know, I've had fans that have commented and they say, "Oh yeah, I'm a big fan." And I remember one from Media Day last year saying how he was from Canada. So it's like, wow, I've got viewers in Canada. So yeah, so yeah, I try to make my YouTube as sort of a mix. It's like it's for already fans of touring cars, but also it's for people who, you know, maybe haven't watched touring cars either in a long time or haven't watched touring cars at all. And it's I try to make my videos engaging enough where people can go, oh, okay, that's a new series. I'll give that a go. And obviously with Formula One, obviously it's had a huge spike in viewership ever since Drive to Survive.
Yeah. That's half the issue, isn't it?
Yeah. And so with that, it's like, you know, maybe there are some fans out there who go, okay, I like Formula One. Maybe I'll check out some other motorsports. So, you know, they'll watch probably like World Endurance Championship or, you know, obviously the lower formulas.
Yeah.
And I want to get more people watching touring cars because obviously, whilst yes, 2023 probably wasn't the best advertisement for that.
No.
There are many other years that, you know, show off what touring cars is all about. So.
Yeah. Because I think obviously, you know, just obviously as you can tell with me, obviously supporting winning championships, yeah. There's only one reason. Everyone knows the reason is to wipe out Mr. Robot, and so that's the whole reason why it's been But it's like, you know, maybe the On the Limit series is now trying to emulate more people to drive them into btcc.
Yeah.
And you know, you're doing an absolute cracking job with your YouTube. I've actually still got to watch loads of your vlogs, but Jesus, mate, you've got more subscribers than I have. You're getting more people probably following you from around the globe than probably me.
Yeah.
You know, but from what I've seen, you work pretty damn well hard on them.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously with the announcement videos recently that I've been doing, obviously, because, you know, I sort of have to cover the announcements, obviously, with like Team Hard coming back from the dead almost. You know, those ones don't take as long because they're literally just like, okay, you know, I can film that for 10 minutes and then, you know, edit it down. But it's really mainly like the trackside videos from last year that I did. And I remember I did a rankings video of my favorite Fast and Furious movies. That one took me, I think, about 3 hours to do, I think. So yeah, it's definitely the longer ones that take a long time to do. So yeah, I try and do it in a way where I don't have to work my butt off, but yeah, unfortunately that comes with the job of being a YouTuber nowadays.
just wait till you start getting, like, you know, when you reach 1,000 subscribers, just wait till people are saying, "Oh, do you want to earn a bit of money doing this?" And it's like, well, you know. But it's like to me, it's like when I've seen what you've done over the last couple of months, like, I mean, obviously the Team Hard one must have been a bit, I don't know, a bit painful to do after what we heard last year.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, well,
or was it a surprise? Or was it like, wow, I need to get this out here?
Yeah, well, with the announcements, it's just like I see the news and I'm like, right, okay, I need to get this done. So when I'm recording the video, a lot of people will see my natural. It will be like with the announcements, it will be literally my natural reaction because it's been 5 minutes since I've read the news. So I've had to like, set everything up, set my tripod up, and then it's just press record. And that, I think, is a good way because then a lot of people, like I say, will see my natural, real reaction to it.
Yeah, they'll see your actual. Yeah, what they'll see is your actual feelings towards that. Like what I do with my live videos, people see exactly how I am and not use all the languages people get offended, but not the natural bullshit that comes with it. It is the down to earth attitude and the positive and negative vibes from it. So, you know, it is how it is.
You know, well, that's what I try to be. I try to be myself. In my videos, and you know, I don't always believe in, you know, you get a lot of YouTubers nowadays who are obviously all PR'd up with media training and that, and they've obviously got their assistants now. I'm not like that. The only person that runs my YouTube is me. So yeah, you know, a lot of my ideas, you know, I come up with myself, but I do also get some comments going, oh, could you make a video about this and this and that? And obviously with my What If series that I did last year, back end of last year, all those videos were suggested by people that I asked on the Facebook groups.
Yeah.
So, and I think I'm pretty sure.
I asked you one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure your one was the finale. It was about Soper and Cleland. I'm pretty sure that was your one that you suggested, and I made it the finale.
It would have been,
So, yeah.
Yeah. But it's kind of like with the obviously from my side of the YouTube and stuff like that. I can't sit down like hours of day to try and get things out as quick as you. I have to, I have to go and do my job and then do that, or vice versa. Yeah. And it's like, oh, how can you compile it all into one day? I can't.
Well, I sort of I'm a bit lucky. I mean, obviously I struggled a bit. You know, I wasn't. Let's say I wasn't very academic in school. So yeah, obviously, and with COVID and that, I didn't get great grades. I will admit. So obviously, and at the minute I'm unemployed, which I think helps. It gives me more free time in the day to do this, obviously do more videos. So I guess that sort of helps a bit. Obviously, I'm sure if I had a full-time job or like a 9 to 5, I probably wouldn't be able to get the videos done in time.
Well, there's not. I'm not going to lie. There's no harm in like if you end up getting a video like 2 days later.
Yeah.
You know, it's unfortunately for me to go to work and then do these live videos or vice versa. It's so difficult because it's like, well, what do I do? Because I can't plan what I want to talk about in these live videos or doing my vlogs because I'm so focused in day-to-day work. So for me to look at what you do, I'm in awe already.
You know, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I get a lot of positive comments, and sometimes I'm just like, I just can't believe people like think I'm that good.
To be honest, Elliot, between you and I, and obviously I've said this to your dad, you guys work your socks off regardless what you do with your YouTubes. Yeah. You know, anyone that wants to start YouTube, it is a bit of a, to me, it's a bit of an eye-opener because how many people may like your content or people may not, and then there may be some comments that people may throw in and you think, well, I can't be dealing with that comment. Yeah. Well, it is what it is, you know, and I do these live videos and people just come in and the community are so brilliant with what I come up with.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, you had, it's like when I saw your Super Touring Power, you had Alan Menu as an interview. Mate,
that was just...
How did you manage to do that?
I mean, well, it's just the interviews.
Not that I'm jealous, mate. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, the interviews are undoubtedly my favourite videos to do. I've only done like 6 or 7, but yeah, it's just that. I mean, I could talk about all of them to be honest. I mean, the first one was Harry King. Yeah, my very first one was Harry King, who at the minute is racing on the Porsche circuit. He's going to do the Porsche Super Cup again this year, so he'll be on the F1 package again. Obviously, he's what I like to call a TOCA alumni, so he's been on the TOCA package. You know, he's racing Ginetta Juniors, won Ginetta GT4s.
Put him in anything, he's bloody quick.
Exactly, he's one of those drivers where you just give him a quick car. He's
It's quite funny when he did the Bathurst 12-hour a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and he was rapid in that, and I'm like, how does he do that? And yeah, I made a video about him. In fact, I think the year before I did the interview, and he actually messaged me that day on Instagram, being like, "Oh, I've seen your video. Thanks for the kind words." And I'm just like, "What? I didn't expect that to get a message from the man himself."
It's mad.
And yeah, we've been, you know, messaging each other pretty much since then. You know, I met him a few times before. He's always been like, "Oh, hello, how you doing?" He's such a nice guy to talk to. And then I met him. It was Snetterton 2022.
Yeah.
The very very hot weekend. I remember.
I remember that being baking hot. Obviously I wasn't there, but I remember it.
Yeah,
it was baking up north, and I was like,
it was roasting that day. And I just, you know, saw him in the paddock, and I was like, oh, again, hey, how you doing? And then I just thought, could we do a quick 2-minute interview? And obviously he said yes, and it's luckily everyone I've interviewed has given that same answer. So yeah, and obviously then cut a few months later, it was TCR UK. It was at Snetterton.
Yeah.
Obviously we all went, me, my dad, my sister. And I was like, okay, I want to try and get some more interviews done, because I think that'd be great. And so yeah, obviously, luckily, what TCR do is brilliant. Obviously, they do the grid walk for the public, and so okay, I can use that to my advantage. So yeah, I interviewed Josh Files, who was racing that weekend, another Toka package driver from about 10 years ago. Interviewed Adam Shepherd, who again is brilliant.
Yeah, well, he's a bit of a local boy to you and your dad, isn't he? So
yeah, he lives he's done work on my dad's car, and he lives just up the road from us. So and then, yeah, I got
there though, mate.
Yeah,
you could have got his workshop instead of a racetrack.
Yeah, I managed to interview Carl Boardley as well. That was a pretty good one, and obviously as well, I think it's definitely up there. But to interview Dan Kirby as well was, I think, great, and I was devastated when I found out what happened to him.
Mate, I think we all were, to be fair.
Yeah, I was shocked, because it's not something like you expect, like at all. So yeah, but I was very, very pleased to do that interview with him. See, obviously another Essex driver, so
yeah,
had to support him.
It's like I met him at Snetterton 2019 when I was there. Him and Andy Wilmot, and when I found out Dan Kirby had passed away, I thought, Jesus Christ, what the hell?
Yeah, I was the exact same. I couldn't. Yeah, it was just unbelievable.
I was like, God rest his soul and bless him, really, because he was a nice guy.
Yeah, he was so nice. Obviously, I commend all the drivers that I've interviewed for giving up their time, even though obviously it's like 2 minutes of their time, but even so, it's and obviously, yeah, moving on from the TCR interviews, my next one was Aidan Neat, obviously, and Andy's son, who at the time was racing in British F4. Yeah. Again, yeah. Aidan was so nice, and beforehand he actually asked about my videos and my YouTube, which was great.
And then you love his dad or not,
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah. There's a few people out there who can talk about Andy Neat. You might not have the highest opinion of him.
I keep my opinions about him to myself.
Yeah. It's like on the Facebook group that my dad runs. It's like, we do not promote any type of bad mouth.
We don't do that here either. So
it's like you could talk about some of the drivers, like Andy Neat, like Will Powell, like Nick Halstead. It's
you name it. There's a lot of drivers that get stick out there. Even my pal, Mr. Roger, gets it.
Yeah.
And it makes me sick to the bone and teeth. Like, why do people want to mock people? There's a question from Tracy said, how do you deal with the negative comments if you get any?
I've had a few. To be honest, most of them I do try and ignore. But I've been very lucky. I haven't got many, which is great. But there was one the other day that was just mocking my background in my bedroom, and to be honest, I just thought whatever, because that's still a work in progress.
What's wrong with your background at home? Nothing. It's just if someone said, "No, I don't like the pictures of your cars here," I'll be like, "Well, hang on, it's my background spot."
Exactly. It's like it's still a work in progress. I've got the Super Touring poster up there that I got.
I saw that. I'm stealing that off you, by the way. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, that's there for sure. And obviously, I've got the first picture up there. I plan to have multiple pictures of touring cars, past, present, on there. Eventually, it'll be like a mural or whatever.
I'll see the first picture. For you. I've got a few that I don't want. So
yeah.
Don't if you want.
Yeah. And the first picture's up there, and it's one of Adam Shepherd, and he actually signed that for us, which was brilliant. We went over there I think it was early December. We went over there, and he wasn't there, but his mum was, and obviously, and every time we've spoken to her, she's been lovely. And yeah, we got given 2 signed posters, and we actually got one of his bottles of bubbly from one of his races.
Oh wow!
Which was brilliant, and it's one of his race-winning ones, which we were surprised by.
Nice.
So yeah, that's at my grandpa's house at the minute, and he doesn't want to open it. We haven't opened it because he doesn't want to, so we've just left it there.
Open it for something special, because that sounds like I'd have to find. If Jem wants to open a bottle of Prosecco, I think I'd have to hide that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we were trying to convince him, because obviously it was a few weeks before Christmas, so we were like, we've got to have a bottle of the race-winning bubbly, but no, so we've left it. But it was such a nice touch from Adam to do that.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, and obviously he's actually watched the interview that I did with him on the grid walk, and there's plans in motion to hopefully do a proper sit down interview one day with him.
Nice, mate.
Yeah, so hopefully we can do that in the future. And he also told us what he's doing for 2024, which is nice to have some inside knowledge for once.
Yeah, but unfortunately, you and your dad, because your dad said to me on Monday he won't be telling me, and you won't be telling me. So only time will tell.
Yeah, well, we've only been told, and we know, but we don't know everything.
Well, yeah,
per se. So
that's the thing. Go on.
Yeah, we know what he's doing. We just don't know what in, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what he's racing, but you don't know what he's going to be racing in. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I get a few insights off, obviously, Mr. Robot and myself, from being sworn to secrecy previously. So yeah, I know how that feels when you've got the itch to try and say to everyone what's going to happen.
Yeah.
You know. But,
that actually reminds me. I remember go back to when I was messaging Harry King once. He actually told me, because I think this was when he first messaged me. Harry King actually told me that he was doing Porsche Carrera Cup again. I think like 2 weeks before it got announced, which was quite fun to know.
Yeah, that's half the problem. It's like obviously 2 days before the Dynamics deal, or a day before the deal, the Dynamics Dan was like, I can talk about it now, but at the time I couldn't actually announce where he was going. I was like, Jesus, I was like, he told me, and I nearly fell off my chair because I was living at home on me. Well, yeah, I was living on my own at the time. I think, was I living on my own? No, I was living. Jen and I were living together, and Jen was at work, so I had to keep it on a secret.
Yeah,
and it's like nearly fell off my chair, thinking, what on earth is going on? And then it's like, I couldn't believe it. And it's like, obviously, Michael Crease, as you know, he tells me sort of inside information. And I'm like, going to be sworn to secrecy what people tell you. And you don't. Sometimes you feel you want to blurt it out.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, the Shepherds didn't tell us that we couldn't tell anyone. So I don't know. I honestly don't know if I can say what he's doing or not. But but for now, I'm going to keep it secret. Just
keep it under secrecy. Then keep it as a surprise for everyone.
Yeah.
But if you ask the likes of Dan Robot and Manel or the British touring car drivers, they will tell you, but they will tell you not to tell everyone.
Yeah.
Just in case something goes wrong or something happens.
Yeah.
But it made me laugh because I was like, I was thinking about it. I said to Dan, what's happening this year? He said, "Oh, don't tell anyone. No, but this, and this." I thought, oh right, okay. I kind of know what you're trying to tell me here, because obviously it got announced that Matt had hurt himself in his mountain bike.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, oh shit, that's going to leave Matt out for a couple of weeks, maybe even longer if we're not careful. Yeah. So then Dan was like, oh, but by the way, this is happening. I'm like, okay, what? I think I nearly fell off my chair, or nearly burnt myself with my cup of tea and hand at the time. But yeah, I was made up when I found out that. But yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, the interviews. The Alain Menu one is the most recent. Obviously, when I'm back at the racetrack, I'm definitely going to try and do a lot more So if there's any drivers watching and you want to do an interview trackside, message me. But yeah, with the Alan Menu one, it was a bit of a weird one, because obviously we were going to the Super Touring event anyway, and I was like, it would be nice to do an interview, but I'm not actively going to chase anyone about. But obviously there were a ton of legends there, of course. Obviously Alan, Steve Soper, Andy Rouse was there, Patrick Watts, I remember. So I was like, I'll be fine with just meeting like any of them. Obviously, even though I hadn't grown up with them, I've watched hours and hours of the DVDs. So, but yeah, with the Alan one, I was like, we were walking around to the front straight bit, and we were like, and in my head I was like, okay, right, I've got to do Alan Menu. It was either going to be Andy Rouse or Alan Menu who I was going to try and find. And then I was like, okay, right, we'll try and find Alan Menu. And I thought he'd be in trying to hide himself, but no, he's in a bright pink t-shirt.
Can't miss it.
Yeah, exactly. I was walking past and I saw this a man with grey hair. I wouldn't call him old. But yeah, I saw him, and it's like when you recognise someone and you think, oh, he looks familiar.
Yeah.
And then
I'm like that with pretty much everyone I know in the touring car. I like that.
Yeah, and then I circled around and I saw his face, and I was going to that. I was like, Dad, that's Alan Menu, and I was like, I always, I have social anxiety. So when I'm out in public, or I'm out with, with when I'm at Brands Hatch or Snetterton, it's not that bad, because it's like, it's like touring cars are sort of my comfort.
Everyone kind of gets on with each other there and stuff like that.
Yeah, and so I just thought, screw it, it's Alan Menu. You got the opportunity to take it, and so I went up to him. I was like, hey Alan, can we do an interview for my YouTube channel? And he said yes, and that's when I was like, okay, right, calm it down, stay calm. And then there was a funny moment actually before we started recording. I was like, oh Alan, you're a legend, I'm a big fan. And then and he just went, oh, you should not know that because you're young. And but Alan was just brilliant, and it's 100% my favourite interview that I've done.
I watched that and I thought, wow, mate, how decent is that? He was obviously he was racing in the Rapid Fit Monderos when I started going, and obviously that's the team I followed back then.
Yeah,
probably why I support the Napa, because it's blue and yellow.
Yeah, blue and yellow Ford.
There we go. It's probably brought it all back to me. But when I saw your interview, I was like, mate, this is proper cool. For someone obviously, yourself to interview someone that's a legend of the sport. He's he's retired now, but fantastic. Tracy's asked the question: who would you like to interview more, really, or who would you like to really interview?
That's a really tough one. I'd like to interview some some btcc drivers, because I haven't done that yet. And I know the only real place I can do that is probably Snet, because obviously the pit lane's accessible there. Whereas obviously Brands Hatch it isn't, unless you go to Media Day, which I did last year. To be honest, I'd love to do Tom Ingram. I'd love to interview Tom Ingram. I think that'd be a great interview, because we all know how funny he can be. I've actually already met. I've met Tom already. In I think it was 2022. I met him. Anyway, so yeah, I'd love to interview Paul O'Neill as well. Because
both of them, me and you both. I'd love him to come on here right now and just talk a load of whatever.
With Paul O'Neill though, I mean, it's a weird thing. I remember he used to have a segment on ITV before the races where he used to read out questions from Twitter.
Oh, I used to see your comments every
exactly.
weekend.
And I used to send in questions, and he'd always read them out. And so that was, and then I remember meeting him 2018.
Yeah.
I remember meeting him at Brands, and I said to him, "Oh, Paul, Elliot, you read out my tweets on ITV," and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's you." And yeah, it's brilliant. And I think I've
Liverpool doing accent.
yeah, and I've met him multiple times after that.
Oh, he's a great guy. He did the introduction for my 2019 Stetson vlog, and I messaged him saying I'm going to be doing a vlog. Would you mind doing an introduction? He said, "Yeah, come and find me." So I had to get him before race 3 of the day.
Yeah.
And it was quite funny because if you've not seen it on YouTube, there's unseen footage from Snetterton. So the whole segment of that trimmed down video, it's on there, and it's like I was part of his Facebook Live on the Saturday, and that's how many people probably think, "Oh, Hopper's is live, look at him and all this."
Yeah.
And it's like, Jesus Christ. And then he said, "Oh, we had a laugh and a joke, and he said, 'Oh, you've got an audience watching you now,' and stuff like that." When it actually wasn't, because it was actually my camcorder that was recording us both. I think that is so class. It's unreal.
Yeah.
And he's done a few time posters and wished me happy birthday and whatnot. Right, and he's absolutely a good lad.
Yeah, every time, I think I've met Paul maybe 3 or 4 times now. Every time I've met him, he's just always had a chat, like even if it's for 5 minutes. And yeah, I actually I remember emailing him I think it was about a year and a half ago, about actually him coming on my YouTube channel, and I don't know what happened, but it's never materialised. But I'm sure I can email him again.
I think he's too busy with stuff. Like I tried to get him.
Yeah.
I tried to have him on here, but then he's like, "Oh, I'm away," because I think he was in Australia and New Zealand at the time.
Yeah.
When I put out a tweet saying, "Is any driver available on this date?" And funny enough, you're on here tonight because a certain Mr. Rowbottom's in Dubai.
Oh, all right.
And Dan was meant to be coming on if he wasn't on holiday.
Oh, all right.
So luckily, we managed to get you to, fill in the gap.
Yeah.
What should have been Monday, but
Yeah, but with Paul, I mean, I'd love to get Paul and Neil on the channel, even if it would be for an interview. I would 100% love to do Ash Sutton. I think interviewing him would be a great thing because 4-time BTCC champion.
You're going to make it for life this year, though.
I mean, we'll have to. I mean,
we can have a discussion about this in a bit. When we get the fans involved. Get the debate.
I'd love to interview Ash Sutton. I'd love to do Andrew Watson because he actually commented on one of my videos. I think it was the announcement video about him when he got announced at Toyota.
Wow.
And I posted the link on Twitter because I post my videos on Twitter and Facebook and that. And yeah, he commented. He was just like, "Oh, thanks for making this video and keep up the good work." And I'm like, "All right, great. I'm now rated by Andrew Watson, which is brilliant." So I'd love to get Andrew Watson on the chat. To be honest, I'd love to do everyone and anyone.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like all of my interviews at the minute are just from people who haven't been in BTCC, apart from obviously Alan and Carl Boardley.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd absolutely love to do some touring.
What you're doing, though, mate, is getting your name out there. You're getting yourself out there.
Yeah. Well, I've already been. Strangely enough, I've already been lucky to actually been recognised at the racetrack.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
no one's recognised me.
Yeah.
They're probably like dodgy West Midland in there.
Yeah. I remember this. It was media day again in last year at Brands, and I was in the Alex Reed shop, and I was just literally walking about the shops, just having a look, and then someone comes in the shop and he comes up to me and he goes, "Oh, Elliot, I love your videos." And I was like, "Oh,
wow.
thank you, but I didn't even. I will admit, it boosted my
ego. It was or anything, right?
Yeah, it boosted my ego a little bit. I will admit.
I'm not going to lie, mate. But obviously, I met you and your dad last year.
Yeah.
For the first time, and it's all. I've always said, I'd want to meet people of the the vlog community and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like Kieran said, do you race in real life? But we all know, racing.
Unfortunately, not. I would say I've come close, but I remember being 14, 15, and we were looking at Janetta Juniors, and we were looking at Janetta Juniors, the Fiestas, and the Citroen Saxo Junior Championship when I was about 14, 15. We were looking at it, and even then, the Junior Championships are just they're just unfortunately far too expensive, and obviously nowadays as well, with the rising cost of everything, it's unfortunately it's costing. I'm not completely writing off a racing career.
You'll be videoing it instead, mate. You'll be vlogging it every time. You'll be getting money off it.
Yeah, I'm not writing off a racing career, because I could win the lottery one day.
Well, we could all do with that, couldn't we?
Yeah. But yeah, doing the media side as well would be a good thing. Paul O'Neill. Funny enough, Paul O'Neill to me is actually a bit of an inspiration. Obviously he's already done the racing side of it, but also he's very good at being a pundit for ITV.
He's very good at his media, though, isn't he? To be fair,
exactly. He's got his own production company and that. So I'd very much like to get on the media side of it, and obviously doing YouTube and that is a way into that.
Just go and media.
Yeah.
But Tracy's like, do you ever get starstruck about meeting drivers?
As I've grown up, it's sort of changed a bit. Obviously, back when I was, I remember being, go back to my first ever event in 2012. I remember I couldn't even walk up to the drivers to ask them for an autograph. I had to get Dad to do it, because I was 8 years old, and I was still very new to touring cars. And Dad's obviously been going to events for ages. But as I've grown up, I've learned just to, I can go up to any driver and just go, oh, hello, can I have an autograph? Can I have a picture? Blah, blah, blah. But there are definitely a few people who I've met, and I've just gone, I remember finishing the Alain Menu interview, and I was just shaking. I was just like, what has just happened? I've just spoken to one of the greatest touring car drivers of all time, and he's going to be on my YouTube channel.
I'm not gonna lie, but the way you pulled that interview off, it was dead on.
Yeah.
With me, I would be like, what do I talk about? What do I want to talk about to him? But it's like,
that's the thing with the interviews. It's literally off the top of my head. Like I don't have anything written down. I don't have any questions written down.
No, nothing.
It's literally just
wow.
And I think a few people have noticed this, but as the drivers are answering, I'm actually preparing the next question in my head. So I'm not even listening to what they're saying. So it's like I remember asking Alan what his favourite car was that he's ever driven. I remember he was talking about the Laguna.
Yeah.
When I was there, in my head, I wasn't listening. I had no idea what he was talking about, because I was just preparing my next question.
Okay.
So yeah, but yeah, with starstruck, I mean, I'm pretty. The majority of the drivers I've met, I've always had to sit back and just go, wow. And I think I've been definitely starstruck by meeting Matt Neal and Gordon Shedden, who are, to me, my top two favourite touring car drivers. So definitely those two are up there.
All I'm going to say is, if I end up getting Matt Neal on here, which probably will happen, because I can get in contact with him via one of his sons. I'll let you figure out which one. Not the other one. What the other one is, because Henry looks like his dad, so I can say, is your dad going to come on tonight? And then get him to talk about it instead. Since they both look like each other and sound like each other, you definitely look like your dad and sound like your dad.
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, coming back to the starstruck thing, I remember I actually went to DTM a few years ago.
Oh, you did? Didn't you? Yes, you did.
Yeah, because I've actually been twice. I went in 2019 with my dad and my grandpa, and then I actually went in 2018, the year before, with my granddad, which is from my mum's side.
Okay.
And I remember they did, right at the start of the day, they were doing an autograph session.
Okay.
But the strange thing is that unlike BTCC, where the autograph session is in the pit lane, they did it on the front straight at Brands Hatch, just opposite the shops.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, there's, I hadn't watched a lot of DTM at that time, but, there were a few, XF1 drivers racing in it, and one of them was Pascal Wehrlein, who is now in Formula E.
Yeah.
And I was like, I definitely want to meet him. If I can get anyone else, perfect. And luckily I met him. I met Paul DeResta, who, again, DTM champion, XF1 driver. And then I managed to also get Gary Paffett, who is a DTM legend, former F1 test driver. So yeah, I managed to meet three DTM champions, which was great.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's fun to think because I've been brought around BTCC for, as I said, 25 years.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating to see how many people just pull themselves together. I'm not going to lie. When I still talk to Dan Robottom, I still feel like, and this is no disrespect, if Dan is watching in Dubai, by the way, I appreciate you. But I get very nervous sometimes trying to talk to him about how the weekend's going, how the racing goes. I have to talk to his dad. I'm good friends with the family, and to talk to Dan's dad about certain things. We were talking about when I was at Croft last year about why did Dan have to finish third and not second in race one? Team orders were playing a factor. And it was like, oh, for God's sake, here we go, team orders now. And it was like, let's do the rain dance for race 3, because then Dan doesn't have to take whatever tyre he had to take.
Yeah.
And potentially, because, I get on with Kev Robottom, Dan's wife and stuff like that. And it's just like, I still get a bit like, did I really just talk to Dan about certain things?
Yeah.
And sometimes when we talk, there's quite fruitful language coming out between me and him, like we're swearing about what's going on. I remember talking to him at Croft 2021 when Taylor Smith fired him off. He's like, oh, Taylor Smith fucked me off. And I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's mad.
I think I did see a question pop up, but I couldn't read it.
I think it was from Tracy. What is your most outstanding memory or event? I think that's what it was.
Most outstanding memory. Oh,
Tracy, the questions in. Just be warned.
There's a lot. I mean, that's a really tough one because again, I've been watching touring cars for like I think 12 years now, so it's that's a lot of memories. I don't know. I mean,
25, mate. Jesus.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man. I would say from watching on TV. I'm going to give two answers. One from watching on TV, and then one at the track.
Yeah.
Watching on TV for me was Gordon Shedden in 2016, which was his third and final title. Watching that, I mean, obviously, Dad's a Honda fan, so naturally it's been passed down, so I'm a Honda fan.
Me, mate.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just and obviously, obviously people like Matt Neal and Plato, they've had such long careers where even I can say I've grown up with them.
Well, yeah, because they were part and parcel of your beginnings.
Yeah, but I've just always, I don't know, there's something about Flash that I've just preferred. Obviously, I love Matt Neal. I've grown to like Plato now that the Matt Neal Plato rivalry's gone. There's just something about Shedden that I've just always loved, and so watching him win his third title, even his second title in 2015, where he had the glowing brake disc. it's just something about watching him win his titles that I'll be like, I'm proud that I've witnessed that. But yeah, and then at the track again, there's just so many to go from. I mean, I remember 2018 Snetterton. I was very lucky to actually go in the garage of Aidan Moffat in 2018, and that was a strange one because I'd messaged Aidan beforehand a few weeks before, going, "Oh, Aidan, I'm a big fan. I'd love to meet you. Could I meet you at some point at Snet?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure, just come round any time." And then we were waiting outside his garage, and then Bob Moffat, his dad, just goes, "Oh, I'm going to do a terrible Scottish accent here, so if there's any Scottish people watching, forgive me." But he was just like, "Oh, you waiting for Aidan?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh, just go in the garage, mate." And I'm like, all right, we'll just go in. And then Aidan saw us, and we got a bit of a garage tour. We got a bit of engine tour. So I'd actually there's another one as well, and this one I will always hold very close to me, and it was meeting Billy Munger in 2017. Because obviously it was again Snetterton. A lot of these going to be Brandon Snet. But it was 2017. Obviously, it was a few months after his big crash. And he had obviously this modified golf caddy, and he drove past us and we was like, "Oh bloody hell, that's just Billy Munger." So we followed him to his caddy, and we luckily got to meet him and speak with him for a bit. So that one was great as well, obviously because it was just after his accident. So
just bear with a look teary eyed, stuff like that. It's like it's still unreal to this day. I can't stop, never forget about that.
Yeah, I remember. I still remember. It's one of those things where it's like, where were you?
Always still there, isn't it?
Yeah. And I remember I was here and we were watching it and we saw, obviously we saw the crash happen, and I was just in shock because I was still quite young. I think I was like 12 or 13 at the time when it happened, and I was still new to witnessing like big crashes. Obviously, I've seen a ton, in touring cars and obviously in F1. I watched the race where Jules Bianchi sadly passed in F1. But with the
I remember watching that at work. I was like, Jesus.
But with that one, because that was my 2014. That was my first year watching F1 properly, so I couldn't really comprehend it. Whereas skip a few years watching Billy Munger's crash, and I was like, what the hell? And that was obviously a big one. And obviously a few days later, it came out he had to have his legs, amputated, and I was just in disbelief. So
like going obviously to that, seeing obviously, I think I was actually at work when that accident had happened. I remember reading on social media stuff's gone on, and people were putting like pretty graphic stuff. I was like, I didn't really want to read into it. And then 2 days later, he's had to have both his legs amputated. I was like, it was pretty bad. And I saw the video a couple of months later, and I thought, if I was there, I think I would have been scarred for life and probably never wanted to go again.
Yeah.
But, fair play to him. He's an inspiration to many.
100%, yeah.
Like Ollie just said, Billy Munger's a top bloke, and it just shows that okay, everyone rallied round him and sent him a card, well wishes. I watched a documentary about him, and I was in tears the whole way through, regardless. And to this day, I'm still like, how the hell did that happen?
Yeah.
It's like, if anything goes wrong in BTCC, like if someone has a shunt, yes, they're okay. But then you think, if that was a lot worse, then we don't really want to think about it.
Yeah.
So, Elliot, while you're here, shall we have a bit of a debate about btcc?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it, mate. You know, let's.
Yeah.
While you're here, we might keep you a bit longer than an hour because this normally happens on a Friday.
Yeah.
But ultimately, just before we wrap up the YouTube side, what are your aims for the future of YouTube? Do you want to progress even more? Do you want, what I'm trying to say about that, do you want better equipment? Do you want, you tell us what you want.
Yeah. Well,
ideally.
obviously, you know, I'd love to progress. I still think that, you know, I still think the best of me is yet to come. In just not to sound like arrogant or anything, but I still think that I can improve. You know, there's definitely a lot of things, you know, in my content that I can definitely improve. But you know, I've watched back a few of my videos before, some of my first ones, and I've noticed that I'm actually more confident, and I didn't realize that.
Really?
Yeah, I'm actually much more confident.
Help me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like in, you know, in my early 2021 videos, I was actually quite quiet and quite monotone, whereas now, you know,
we all are though, mate, to be fair.
I'm much more clear, and you know, I've put a bit more emotion into it, and obviously now doing the trackside vlogs where I'm actually at the track, you know, I'm filming in public. I've got, you know, probably got a few people looking at me thinking, what's he doing?
I get that. Yeah. I get it when I do mine.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's just, yeah. So obviously progression. I'm on 217 subscribers. I've already surpassed my 2024 goal. I wanted 200 by the end of this year, and I've already got that. So I guess getting to 300 subscribers by the end of this year would be great. So yeah, hitting 300 would be good. Again, just I suppose that's my main goal, to be honest. Just trying to get to 300.
Just try to push and keep going.
Yeah,
it's good. It's good attitude to have, because I'm not going to lie, mate. Like you said, you suffer with social anxiety. Okay, no disrespect to that. There's nothing wrong with that. I've got autism, right? So I suffer anxiety. So I know exactly where you come from.
Yeah.
But you are absolutely a star, mate. I'm going to tell you that now. And Tracy's recently subscribed to you, so you've got another subscriber coming.
Great, thank you very much, Tracy.
But the thing is, mate, I appreciate what you do. I look up to you and your dad. You know, I look up to everyone that gives up YouTube and stuff like that. And you know, Ollie's even done it. You know, people subscribe, and you know, it's good to see. Don't get me wrong, YouTube to me, when I started my YouTube, it was just gaming clips, just pissing about on the Xbox, drifting a car that I couldn't drift. Yeah. So then I thought, I'd scrap that, I'd delete them videos, use the YouTube channel I already had, but then grew it into the motorsport vlogs.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie, I struggle day to day with content. Because I could just talk about Dan Rowbottom and Napper and whatever every day of the week.
Yeah.
But, you know, talking about Napper, are we going to get a 5th title from Mr. Sutton this year?
I mean,
see, now I'm asking a killer question because I'm a fan of the team, so you know, should be you asking me that, not me asking you.
Yeah. I mean, on paper, you'd have to look at it and say, yeah, I think talent-wise, Ash Sutton's got it in the bag already. Because in my opinion,
say what you play, because no one's going to judge you.
Yeah, from my time watching BTCC, so from 2011 to 2024, Ash Sutton is the most talented touring car driver I've ever seen.
Not going to lie, I think I agree.
You know, I think, you know, he's already got 4 titles, and he only turned 30, I think, this year. So, you know, he's got 4 titles before he's 30. You know, obviously, I think Andy Rouse was like in his 30s when he got his 4th, and I think Colin Turkington was also in his 30s when he got his 4th. So if Ash Sutton's getting 4 before he's even turned 30, there's no doubt there's 5, there's a fifth, there's 100% a fifth in there. It could even be a 6th or a 7th. So I think. Well, I mean,
no, yeah, you can't carry on, mate, because I'm intrigued.
There's definitely 2. I can see 2 more. At the very least, I can see 2 more in Ash.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it truly depends on what the other teams are doing. Because
Tracy's asked the question: a shock contender. If it wasn't Ash, this is, I think that's what he's trying to.
Well, I think we going into this year, we already know some of the top guys are about. We know Ash is coming back, Dan Cam, Rowbottom, Tingram.
Robot's going to win it anyway, so I don't know what we're on about here. But that's me being biased, mate. That's me being too biased. Me and him are the same age, so
Yeah, obviously we know Jake. Obviously we know Jake Hill's coming back. I think Turkington's pretty much confirmed to be coming back as well this year. So we already know who the top contenders are. But for shock contender, I'm going to go with Andrew Watson.
Wow.
I mean, it's between him and Josh Cook, I think.
Okay.
Because I think we already know how phenomenal Josh Cook is. I mean, Josh Cook.
Well,
is.
I'm going to tell you. I'll tell you something when you finish what you're going to tell me.
All right. Josh Cook's been. I think he's going into his 10th year this year.
Yeah.
And obviously, One Motorsport had their struggles last year, and obviously they're now having to not race, which is a huge shame.
It is.
And, I just think Josh Cook has never had the right car underneath him, even when he was in the Honda, when that Honda was good. I don't, as a Honda fan, it pains me to say this, but I just don't think the FKA is that good of a car.
Me and you both, mate. I'm not going to lie, and this goes for everyone, including yourself. To me, when Josh Cook has been that close to winning the title, he's been in contention to win it on finals day.
Yeah.
It's never materialised. It's never, Josh Cook finishes here. He's now going to be so many points behind this car or that car or that driver. It's never talked about. It's never. It's dropped away.
Yeah, I actually think Josh Cook is actually really underrated because. Obviously he's good mates with Ash. Yeah, obviously Josh is good mates with Ash, and obviously they've both come up together. They were teammates at MG a few years ago.
They were.
And I remember one race they both had, and they were both fighting for the win. I think it was when Ash was at Subaru, and I think Josh was at Power Max in the Vauxhall, and I think they were having like a 10-lap battle for the win. I think it was the final race of 2018. And they came side by side to the line on the last lap. And I think it was that race where we have to, to me, that was the race that when Josh Cook has a championship in him. It's just he needs the right car. And unfortunately, I don't think the Honda's there anymore. So maybe now at Toyota, he could be an outsider. But I definitely think Andrew Watson is going to be maybe not a contender, but I definitely think that
he'll be between you and I think he'll be like top 5 probably.
Yeah, I mean that honestly wouldn't surprise me. But I 100% can see Andrew Watson winning at least one race. He could easily get 2 or 3 if that Toyota's quick like it was last year.
Yeah, well that's the thing, isn't it? Because like I said as a joke before, Robo's winning the title. If Dan wins the title, then I'll be like celebrating that night. Why not? I'm off that week anyway because it's my birthday week after.
Yeah.
So. But to me, the likes of Andrew Watson impressed me last season. He actually really did. But every time people saying, "Oh, the Astra's outdated," whatever. We had Mikey Doble on last season, the day after the tyre test.
Yeah.
And he was guns blazing about, this is fantastic. Jack's his trophy. And I don't think he really understood until Brand's finale that it was between him and Andrew for the Jack Sears Trophy. That's how it was going to pan out.
Yeah.
And to me, to have two cars two drivers in the same car and in the same team to fight for Jack Sears Trophy was like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
What happened to Sam Osborne? Why's the fourth Napper car not there?
Yeah, well,
wow.
I'm going to be honest here. I was one of those people that thought the Vauxhall was outdated.
I'm going to come through that screen in a minute and punch you. No, I'm joking. I will
admit, at the start of 2023, I was like,
I think I might have been as well, but then again,
I didn't see, especially since they lost the actual Vauxhall backing. I thought, I just don't see this Vauxhall getting anywhere. And then, of course, they rock up to the first race. Andrew Watson's fighting for a podium, and I think got P4 in his first race. And then
where did that come from, though? Where did that come from?
I'm still trying to figure that out because it was his first ever race in front wheel drive as well. And
it was.
I had fairly high, well, not fairly high, but I had sort of mid-table expectations. I was like, okay, I can definitely see Watson getting top tens, but nothing more. I wasn't expecting podiums from Andrew. But obviously, at the same time, he's come from the world of GTs. He's come from, racing at Le Mans and that. So maybe he could have used that to his advantage, and I think maybe he did. To go on about Power Max Racing, go later down the line. Obviously, Andrew gets 2 podiums. Taylor Smith gets a podium, and then Mikey Doble sticks it on pole. And I'm just like, okay, they've got that Vauxhall working.
Well, they had. I hate to say this, being a Napa fan, but when Mikey got pole at Silverstone.
Yeah,
I was like, what the heck has gone on to the Focus XT? What the hell?
I was shocked because obviously it was the top 10 qualifying that weekend,
mate,
and obviously and Mikey Doble got into the top 10, and I was like, okay, he's gone into the top 10, but he won't get pole, and then he sticks it on pole.
Exactly. I remember watching the On the Limit series of that meeting a few weeks ago when that was obviously out.
Yeah.
And they were telling, Dan was on the cusp of going out of top 10.
Yeah.
Well, he was on the cusp of going in, but then they said to him, or they said, Ollie Collins and whoever else and Rob and whoever.
Didn't they tell him to? They told him to back off, didn't they?
They told him to back off to let Ash go in. And I hate to say this because I've got a few people that obviously follow Napa, myself included, but surely a guy that's okay, Dan's had so much issues, bad luck, whatever, last season, where some of it's gone wrong. For someone that's had that much bad luck or whatever's happened, you think, can we just turn the tables a minute? It's not all about Ash. Ash will win the title regardless.
Yeah.
But let's get Dan to, reunite his status. It's like, to me, that was a kick in the teeth.
Yeah.
But, I can't argue because I feel like if I argue, I'm going to argue with the wrong person. Probably myself, most likely.
Yeah.
It's like Tracy said, which motorsport would you see on the token package and what would you get rid of?
Oh,
you answer that while I go to the toilet and get a drink.
All right. Good point. What would I bring in? What would I get rid of? Oh, that's a tough one. I'd probably get rid of the Porsche Sprint Challenge, the GT4 cars, because they're just I don't see a reason for them to be on there. And what would I bring in? I'd bring in the Civic Cup from TCR. I think the Civic Cups are definitely a personal favourite of mine. Obviously, as a Honda fan, to those who know, I'd definitely bring on the Civic Cup. 100% would be mine. I'll wait for Andy now.
There we go. What was the answer? I missed it.
I was just saying I'd get rid of the Porsche Sprint Challenge, to be honest. And then I'd bring in the Civic Cup.
Oh, okay.
I'm not too sure Stuart Lyons would like that.
He's going to hate you. He follows this page, so he's going to hate you even more.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'd say it's probably a bit biased to Honda, but at the same time, like I don't think I've ever seen a bad Civic Cup race. It's so good, and that's probably the reason why it is now the main feeder series to TCR UK. It's just that good.
That's what your dad said on Monday. Funny enough, that's But like Tracy said, she'll probably get rid of F4. But then again, it's not everyone's due. That's how your sister that she might come and kill us and lynch us.
Yeah, well, I've also got a soft spot for F4, and I'm actually a big F4 defender because in fact you look at last year in British F4. British F4 was the only championship on the Toka package last year that actually went to the final race. Every other championship was wrapped up like 2 races before.
Yeah.
And there's so many young talent coming out of F4, and I think you just have to look at previous drivers. You got Lando Norris is racing British F4. He's in F1. Oscar Piastri, he did F4. He's now in F1. Logan Sargent, he did F4. He's now in F1.
There's loads, isn't there?
And even then, you've got there are some other guys. You got Zane Maloney, who won British F4 a few years ago. He's now in Formula 2. You've got Luke Brown, who's now in F3, and he's a Williams Academy driver in F3. So I definitely disagree with getting rid of F4 because I think it's important. I think not only that, it showcases single-seater racing to young stars. And I definitely think that F4 definitely has a place on the Toka pack, especially now with Janetta Juniors not being there.
Do we think TCR should be televised?
What was that?
TCR should be televised. Do we think that should be possible?
I mean, I don't know, because I think TCR being on YouTube is what makes it so accessible.
Yeah, I mean, my God, you sound like exactly what your dad said to me on Monday.
Yeah, it's TCR is so that's one thing I'll always support about TCR is that it's so accessible. You can literally they do public grid walk, so you don't even need a VIP pass. You can literally just walk onto the grid, meet your favourite drivers, and obviously I've benefited from that with some interviews. And again, watching it on YouTube, I think has been great because obviously, touring cars they've got the ITV stuff. They've got the big TV deal, but and I think that's what makes the entirety of TCR so accessible, not just UK, but all the other championships. They had all their World Tour races on YouTube. They had, I think, TCR now have their own website where you can watch some TCR races from around the world. So I think I'm going to say no to TCR being on TV because I think keeping it on YouTube is brilliant because I could load up YouTube right now and I can watch every single TCR UK race. Whereas you can't go on the TV guide and find, you can't find BTCC from like 2010. You'd have to either go onto YouTube or watch the DVD.
Yeah. I agree with that. But obviously, I think if some people could have access to the internet and YouTube, it's probably where.
Well, I remember TCR did used to have a highlights package on TV. I think it was on Free Sports, but I'm not too sure whatever happens to that. I don't know if that's still about.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with keeping it on YouTube, I think.
Fair enough. Would you be interested in Super GT, which is Japanese?
I've tried to actually,
Curiosity.
I've got a soft spot for Japan anyway. I've always wanted to go to Tokyo and that, and obviously again, it's probably the Honda bias, but you know, I've always been interested in Japanese. I've always been interested in Japanese cars, not just Hondas. You know, my favorite car is the Nissan Skyline R32. So,
okay,
so yeah.
Where's Jake Hill when we need him?
Exactly. You know, I remember Jake Hill last year at Goodwood when he took the HKS Nissan run. I'm like, I wish that was me.
Hey, well, funny enough, where were you when we had Simon Hill on a few months ago? Simon was.
I can't remember where I was, but I've watched it on YouTube. So. But yeah, I've spoke to Simon Hill a few times on social media because we follow each other on Twitter. I'm
going to tell you this, Elliot. If you invite him on, mention me. He will do it for you.
Yeah,
he will do it. I said to him, "Do you fancy coming on as a chat?" He said, "Yeah, why not?" And we had him on January.
Yeah.
And what a fabulous evening that was. And
yeah,
you know, and it's been a fabulous evening to catch up with you and hear about your YouTube.
Yeah.
You know, and other things, and obviously I'm having a drink. It's Friday.
Yeah.
As you can tell, swigging away with a bottle, and I wanted to give it off the hard stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I appreciate you coming in and having your time, mate, because we did try and get you Monday, and things weren't playing ball, and things still aren't playing ball, because we had to borrow your dad's account.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure when you first asked me. So yeah,
I thought we might as well, you know, because it is what it is. But Tracy's got one final question for you. Not a driver. Who would you like to interview, though?
Not a driver. Oh,
yeah. Told you, it's just got killer questions.
That is so tough. I mean, it depends. Like, are we talking not current drivers or just?
I don't think it's a driver in general.
If we're talking ex-drivers, then that is a tough one. Because I mean, I've said it already. There's so many people who I'd like to interview, even if it's current or non-current. But I mean, I'm planning to go back to the Super Touring Car event this year at Brand. So hopefully I'll catch some ex-drivers there. To be honest, I'd love to do John Clennon. To be honest,
it'll be a lot.
Yeah, that you know, that I think that'd be a great one because I think he still keeps up with modern day touring cars. He's been very open about. You know, I think he still keeps up with it. So I think definitely John Clennon would definitely be one to that would definitely be one to do in the future, hopefully. So if he is at Brands Hatch this year, hopefully we can get that done.
If you are watching, you are there. Do let this young man know because he wants to do it.
Yeah.
But Elliot, as obviously I've plugged your YouTube many times. Would you like to do the honours and do it yourself?
Do the outro.
Well, you can do the outro if you want to do the outro. I'll plug the YouTube. Whatever you want to do, mate.
Oh. I mean, yeah, I'll definitely plug my YouTube because
it is 5 to 10, and I'm a bit like, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, so anyone who hasn't subscribed, you can find me on YouTube. Just Elliot Webber. That's ELLIOT and then WEBBER. If not, try going to www.youtube.com/@ElliotWebberYT. It should be there. It should hopefully be the first one that comes up when you search it. So yeah, just subscribe to YouTube. Yeah, check out all my videos, but I definitely recommend my trackside videos and my interviews because they're my favourite ones to do. So yeah, Andy, again, thank you so much for having me.
No problem, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you. And as I say to every guest, I will get you one of the Dayglow yellow stickers out.
Brilliant! Can't wait.
Because obviously your dad's got the old one, but I'll send you the current one.
Yeah, I actually found this earlier when I was moving some stuff about. I actually found this.
Oh, Oh,
in my room, and I was quite surprised by that. So I thought I'd show you right at the end.
is that your dad's one though?
I think it is. Yeah, I think so. It might be.
Just steal it, and then I'll send him the new one.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
But no, mate. If he ends up keeping it at himself, that's the old sticker. I will get you a new one out. But what I will do is I'll send it to your dad, and then he can pass it on.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, as a thank you for coming on, I'll send you the new sticker out.
All right, brilliant. Thank you very much.
But mate, no, much appreciated. Hopefully, I will see you at Snetterton this year because I will be there for btcc.
Yes, yeah. I think we're definitely planning on going again. I've got, obviously we're planning on going to so many more.
Is that a McLaren hoodie I'm spotting, by the way?
Huh?
Is it a McLaren Formula One?
Yeah, I've got the F1 hoodie on.
I thought you would do.
This
Good lads.
is like my signature hoodie now.
Yeah, it is. But no, mate, much appreciated. I will let you not disappear, but sign off.
Yeah.
And if you want to stay around while I chat to the guys off camera, you can. If not, you can give the phone back to your dad. But thank you, mate. And I'll sort out that problem what we've got.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's.
You follow the page, and it annoys me because I tried to figure it out before. I thought, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, it's weird technology.
It is. Technology doesn't like us. It doesn't like me on this page.
Yeah.
It doesn't like it because I was meant to have David Anderson for an interview last November.
Oh wow.
But that never happened.
Oh man, that sucks.
It does. Well, thank you, mate. I will let you do what you need to do. It's Friday,
Yeah, but again, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure.
I'll speak to you soon, mate.
Right. See you around. Goodbye.
See you later, bud. Ta-ra. There we go, guys. I hope you really enjoyed that interview with Elliot. I really enjoyed that myself. But I'm going to stay for a bit longer to keep you guys in check. But as I say, I do apologise if we missed any questions. But yeah, he found the old sticker. That's been a while. But guys, have you enjoyed that? Because I have. Oh, I don't know. Technology and interviews. I'm glad you enjoyed it, Tracy. Thank you for. As I say, I'm going to go through everyone's comments and react to them. But tonight has been really good. Finally getting Elliot on. We were meant to have him on Monday, and it didn't happen on Monday. But we've had him this evening. It's great to have a bit of an insight. Really glad you've enjoyed it, guys. But yes, I'm going to stay for. I'm probably going to stay for a bit longer because I want to catch up with the community. I want to catch up with the beautiful vlog community, should we say. But how's everyone doing? Let me know how you're doing. It's Friday. But yeah, so the old sticker got found, which, believe it or not, the blue sticker, if you guys aren't familiar, was the original sticker. Well, the original colour before we started getting weird colours. But he had my phone, so I'm going to rewatch. I don't blame you, Rich. Thank you for allowing him to use your phone for the interview, mate. Much appreciated. Thank you for that. As I say, I'll try and figure out what the issue is. Tracy, that's a very good killer question. Thank you for your killer questions this evening, by the way. Who do I think is going to go to Team Hard this season? I don't really know. I'd love to say Michael Crease and probably Jade Edwards. I'd like to see, but no worries, Ali. I will catch you later. Thank you for tuning in, by the way. I wasn't ignoring you, but thank you so much for tuning in. Great to have you. Yes, Rich, thank you for allowing Elliot yet again for use of your phone, and thank you for allowing him to come and talk to me. It was much appreciated. But yeah, team hard drivers, Tracy, I don't really have a clue. Excuse me, at the moment. Ideally, from what I've seen, it said race winners, but I don't really want to disclose much. But you never know, do you? But yes, guys. Just while we're on the live video, I've been thinking about some stuff. Nothing to worry about because it's all decent stuff, by the way. And I want people to understand where I'm going to come from with this. Is next Monday I am live because it is Monday and it is going to be a live video on Monday. But how would you feel on a Thursday next week, just as a one-off? I am going away next weekend. That is why I'm probably going live Thursday. Because I'm going away for the weekend next weekend. Not on the official statement. Yeah, Tracy, I do apologise. I misread your question. I don't read the official statements because I don't really want to, just in case I get them wrong. But idea of Michael Crease and Jade Edwards to team up, I think it would be great, personally, for Team Hard. Maybe I've read the official statement. Maybe I was being thick, but I do apologise for that. But I'm going to go live on Monday. Not too sure what Monday's live video is going to be about, but I am thinking about talking about driver or catching up with you guys on Monday as a catch up and a bit about what's happening with the vlogs and YouTube for this year, because I feel like I've neglected and not really discussed it as much as I wanted. But Thursday, I'm going to talk about BTCC drivers that should have had one or more years in BTCC, or if they've had, or if they've raced 2 seasons and maybe should have had more seasons. I'm just going to quickly, yet again, nip to the loo, but do leave me some comments. Oh, it's a statement from someone else. Oh, okay. Maybe that's just me. Back in 1 minute, and I'll catch up with you in a second. Do apologise. I'm here. Do apologise about that, people. Daryl says Thursday will be good. That's all right. Good to hear that, Daryl, because I'm away next weekend, so I'll go live on Thursday. Well, hopefully I'm back to a normal time on Thursday. But yeah, so if it was from someone else, Tracy, then I don't really. All I've seen is the statement from Team Hard, touringcartimes.com as well. I've not really read any elsewhere, by the way. So, Leon, don't laugh at my knees, cheeky git. How are you doing, mate? Elliot asked, "Is this going on YouTube?" As he wants to watch it. Yes, I will upload. Rich, I will get it uploaded to YouTube. Tell him I will upload this to YouTube. Of course I will. Leon, how dare you laugh at my knees, mate? What's wrong with my knees? Cheeky bugger. But yes, Rich, it is going on to YouTube, mate. I will put it onto YouTube. I will even, yeah, no worries. Glad to have him as well. It's always a pleasure. Could always have him on again. We're having returning guests at some point, hopefully. But yeah, as I was saying, before someone made a remark about my knees and my shorts,
Good job, Leon. It's not short shorts, mate. That would be even more embarrassing, wouldn't it? Good to see you, mate. Good to see you. But yes, Thursday I will be live on Thursday and Monday next week. A week on Monday I will be live, and then on Friday the following week. But I feel like recently I've not catched up with everyone. Recently on the vlog page or during the live videos, so I do apologise for that. I'm glad to hear that, mate. I'm glad to hear he's buzzing. I'm buzzing to have him. You know, it's worked out quite well. You know, was really going to talk for an hour, but I had him for longer, so I do apologise, mate. But I'm glad that he's got, you know, he's getting exposure out there and he's getting what he needs, mate. I'm happy to accommodate. But as I say, I've kind of neglected you guys over Monday when we tried to explain what was going on. Me and Rich were having a bit of a conversation or catching up with each other. But that you know, that was good times. It actually kind of helped fill in a hole of what was happening on Monday. So, Rich, thank you, mate, for Monday, and also, you know, for sorting out tonight. Tonight's been absolutely unreal. But I want you guys to be assured that, you know, I am here. I've not disappeared anywhere. It's fine. I'm not very well anyway. Mate, listen. We know you're not well, and we wish you the best of health. So don't worry, mate. You know, we're all here for you. You know, you want to talk, we're here. All of us are, you know. But as I say, I don't want people to, you know, think, oh, Hopper's neglected my question on Monday or Hopper's ignored me on Monday. You know, with the live videos and with the interviews, you know how chat goes, and we miss questions now and again. Good job I can speed up and, you know, speed a lot of things. And now that I've got my backup phone, and now I've got the phone I use day-to-day life, I can be in contact with the guests. So it makes it easier and worthwhile. But just give me 1 second while I just reply to someone that watched the live video this evening. But, you know, I personally would like to thank you guys. You know, things are better. You know, things have improved massively. As I say, I've got the spare phone. Yeah, no, Rich, anytime, mate. We're all one big motorsport family. We all wish you the best of health, mate. You know, that goes for anyone. If anyone's under the weather or anyone feels very down and needs someone to talk to, we're all here. You know, I'm here every day of the week. You know, not live personally every day of the week, but I'm reachable. So it's a good job I have the spare, well, the old phone on the current phone. So if I've got a problem and the guest needs me, they can contact me on my proper phone. So there you go. Anything else you want to ask me, or anything killer question wise? I'm a bit scared about killer questions. Damn joking. But no, if there's anything you want to tell me, any news or anything you want to ask me personally before I wrap up, then please do. But as I say, really enjoyed tonight. Good to catch up with Elliot. I met him at Stanton last year, and his dad, Rich. You know, I really appreciate, you know, catching up with people that I see at the circuit. But I am feeling pretty positive about the next couple of weeks and the next couple of months. Putting live videos. As I say, Dan Robottom was meant to join us tonight as well, but he's in Dubai on sunning himself. How dare he? I mean, good on him. Dan, if you're watching, I'm only joking, mate. You deserve a holiday. you know. Oh yeah, Monday, 10 o'clock Monday morning, these guys are launching their livery. What's it going to look like? Bet it's bright pink. Bet Ash will feel at home if it's bright pink. I'm only messing. But yeah, anything you want to tell me, please do. Or if you want to catch up with me, please do. You know, don't be afraid to ask me anything. I'm all for it. But yeah, I'm glad you guys have enjoyed tonight's live video. I've enjoyed it. You know, I've enjoyed having a chat and getting to know Elliot's YouTube a bit more and a bit about btcc, how he got into it, and you know, about his interviews, and had a bit of a debate about British touring cars. Can't ask for more than that, can you? Put the heating on, it's bloody warm in here now. But as you can notice, I'm back in Vlog HQ for the first time in how many weeks. But anything else you want to ask me, or anything you want to tell me, please do stick it in the comments, because I will be wrapping up very shortly, because it is like 10:15 nearly. And how long have I been live? Jesus. Here enough live for 2 hours. Who would I like to interview and not a driver? Tracy, that's a very good question. I saw when you asked Elliot that, he was like, had to think about it. If it wasn't a driver, that's a very good question. I would actually like to interview Ollie Collins from Napa Racing UK, to be fair. Not because I just follow the team, but I think I'd love to have an insight of how, or even better, Pete Osborne. I'd love to interview the guys from this team. I think it would be brilliant. Or even Dick Bennett from WSR. That's a challenge for me to try and ask. And yes, Daryl, you're getting that trademark finger that you used to laugh at. But yeah, just any team owner really, I'd like to try. Let's try and interview you. But I like Tracy. I love your questions. I don't know what it is, but when you see your killer questions, I'm like, these are going to be hard to answer. I'm scared to think, but thank you to keep them going. You know. But yes, guys, I'm going to wrap up very shortly, because otherwise I have been talking for near enough 2 hours. But why not? It's been great. It's been a laugh. Been enjoyable. I'm looking forward to Monday, because Monday is going to be a catch up with you guys, and then of course Thursday is all about British touring car drivers that should have been in the championship for maybe one or more seasons. Yes, Tracy, I could do that. Of course, I could try my best to explain what a driver does to getting onto track. Do you mean from getting budget sponsors to getting on track, or do you mean prior to a race? I'm interested to hear which bit it is. Or if it's all of it, then we can try and do that, of course. I would love to try and get some insight. Maybe I might get a driver to help me with this one. But yes, I see where you're coming from. Yes, of course, I will. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I can gladly, you know, sort out a live video for that. That'll be, I'll have to do that in the next couple of weeks though, because I've already got next week planned. But yes, I can do it the week after if you like. I don't see why not. I think that'll be an enjoyable one as well. But yes, guys, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being you. Thank you for persevering when we've had issues. But I've really enjoyed tonight. I actually really have. It's good to be back. It's good to be back live twice a week. Didn't feel like it though, but it is really great. It's really great to see loads of people commenting. I've obviously missed people's comments. I've missed reacting to comments. Or a live costing for a driver. I can have a look into it, Tracy. I don't see why I can't give you do them live videos because, you know, I think you obviously, you know, people would love to have a bit of an insight. I'm going to definitely do some insight live videos. I'd love to, you know, do that. But bear in mind, just be warned, some of my figures may not be accurate. But no, thank you so much, guys, for this evening. Thank you for being you. Thank you for tuning in. You know, and if you joined late or you joined halfway through, I do apologise if I did not say hello. But as you can tell, I was talking away. But no, thank you guys for being you. Thank you for being absolute stars. Thank you for being legends. And most importantly, thank you for sticking by. I'm looking forward to next week, being live on Monday and Thursday. I'll let you know what time Thursday, because things may be changing. I may be going back onto mornings at work next week. Fingers crossed, because that's what we're hoping for. But yes, I will see you guys Monday at 8:45 p.m. because I am at work till 8 o'clock Monday evening. But yes, I will hopefully see you guys Monday. The interview with Elliot will be on YouTube on Monday, maybe Tuesday next week. So if you are watching, Rich, just tell him it might be during the week next week when I get round to it. If not, I'll get round to it the week after, because obviously I'm away next weekend. But thank you guys for being you. Thank you for being stars. I can't thank you guys enough. I really can't. Proper buzzing for tonight as well. It's been, you know, class. As I get yet again, thank you, Elliot, if you're still watching, mate. Thank you for your time and a bit of a laugh along the way. It's been really great. So I will see you guys Monday for a bit of a catch up about news and what's going to be happening with the vlogs, as well as the live videos. And then, of course, Monday I will be, not Monday, Thursday, I'll be talking about btcc drivers that should have been on the grid for more than one season. There'll be some drivers you probably never heard of. But yes, guys, have a good weekend. Thank you for being stars. I'm going to finish this can of Guinness before I go to bed. And I'll see you Monday, 8:45 p.m. Take it easy. Have a fabulous weekend. I'll see you Monday. Ta-ra.